Welcome back to another episode of Uncorked Conversations. You ever had one of those moments where really know, it's time to shift? Not because things are bad, but because you simply outgrown where you are. Yeah, this is going to be one of those. Before we get into it, grab your journal, get comfortable, because this one is personal. I'm coming to you straight from my journal. Unedited, raw, real, and whatever was on my mind when I wrote this. Pivoting. Whew. It's been the most challenging and rewarding thing at the same time. And what's crazy is you don't always realize you're in the middle of a pivot when you're in it. Let me explain. At first, it just feels like life is lifing. 1 minute, I'm locked in, focused, moving with intention. The next, I'm in the mirror like, girl, what exactly are we doing? But the truth is, I've already done it. I've been it. The only thing left is for me to actually move like it. Get it through your head, girl. It's a me versus me thing. And you know what I realized? Sometimes we hold on to what's familiar. Not because it's good for us, but because it's comfortable. Familiarity tricks us into thinking we have to wait for the right moment to step into something new. But what if I told you that moment is right now? What if I told you we don't have to wait to become it? Remember what I told you last time? We've already been it. Check yourself. Sit with that for a second. And if you don't have your journal out, now probably will be a good time to grab it. Get them phone notes going or something, because I don't want you to say I didn't tell you. Lately, I've been moving differently. Reading more. Staying locked in. But listen, procrastination, that's been a real battle for your girl. And I'm not going to even act like I don't have those days where I tell myself, does this really need to be done today? But then I remind myself, Grace. Grace reminds me that slow progress is still progress. And one thing about me, I'd rather be slow and certain than fast and lost. I used to think growth had to look a certain way. That if I wasn't constantly grinding, constantly showing, constantly producing, then I wasn't doing enough. You know, social media have you all in your head, all in your feelings, and still getting nothing done. But nah, I've learned that sometimes growth looks like rest. Sometimes it looks like letting go. Sometimes it looks like a deep breath before you step into the next chapter of your life. Think about the last time you made a real big decision. And speaking of growth, y'all ever heard that saying, the grass is greener where you water it? You probably have, especially if you've dated. And if you're listening to this, you should be old enough to have dated. I used to believe that until I realized I don't even want no grass that's always green. Because let's be real. Anything alive changes. Seasons shift. Things grow. Things shed. What I have learned is what's meant to stay will and what's meant to go, baby, you got to let it go. So instead of trying to keep the grass green, I decided I'd much rather keep watering my mustard seed. It's small, but it's powerful. It may be overlooked, but she's unstoppable. It doesn't need to look like much to be everything. And that's where my energy been going. So now I'm asking you, where are you putting your energy? What are you watering? And be honest with yourself. You don't really have to say it out loud. And you don't even have to tell anybody. But at least write it down, for you. Because if you're still waiting for the right time to step into your next season, let me be the first to tell you, it's already here, baby. Look outside. Do that thing that we do where we extend our arm out the front door to check the temperature, and it's probably much different from yesterday, or at least different from this morning or last night. And lately, I've been super intentional about catering to what my skin, my mind, and my body actually needs. Because as you get older and wiser, because remember, I'm just 30 something, it calls for different things, right? Every part of you needs something different at different times. You got to stop just going through the motions, not just doing what you've always done. I'm not even doing what I've always done, but I've really been listening to myself. And let me tell you, when you start showing up for yourself like that, life starts showing up for you too. But you want to know what's funny? When you really start prioritizing your peace, people start acting like you switched up. Like, oh, you changed. Oh, you different now. And you know what? I did. You're right. I am different. Because when you know better, you do better. And if you have any idea of all the things that I've been through, gotten through, or maybe even that you've been through or gotten through, that should have changed you too. Plus, I refuse to keep repeating cycles just because they're familiar. I am my ancestors' wildest dream. And it does end with me, okay? Somebody clock that for me. So to the ones out here choosing better, to the ones letting go of what no longer serves them, to the ones out here doing the inner work, how y'all feeling? Y'all good? Because I know I'm not the only one feeling this shift. This season is different. And if you've been feeling that tug, if you've been knowing deep down that it's time for you to do more, to move, to do something different, let this be your confirmation. Write it down. Don't get so caught up in your head that you start focusing on just being better, and then you end up not doing different. Sometimes better is different. Even when we start looking for other people to be better, we have to keep in mind that sometimes better is just doing it a little differently than what you've already done it so many times, right? You still with me? Good, because we're not done yet. Now that we've sat with the fact that we've been it, let's talk about what comes next. Because we always talking about, what needs to be done, what needs to be done. But after it happens, now what? Because knowing who you are is one thing, but becoming that person every single day, now that's the real work. And listen, there's something about evolving that makes people uncomfortable. Not just you, but the people around you too. And that's something I had to learn the hard way. Because let's be honest, some people only loved you when you were struggling. Oh, I said it. I said it. Because sometimes it just needs to be said. Some people only felt close to you when you were doubting yourself. And the second you started choosing yourself, the second you started walking in confidence, stopped shrinking for other people's comfort, the energy shifted, didn't it? And I had to ask myself, did they love me, or did they love the version of me that needed them more than I needed myself? Let that sit for a second. But here's the thing. I released the need for external validation. I am enough as I am. I am worthy of my transformation. I am becoming all that God has called me to be. And I don't need permission to step into my power. I had to realize everybody can't go. And I don't mean that in a cliche, I'm cutting everybody off kind of way. I mean, some people don't know how to love you when you're finally loving yourself. And that's not your burden to carry. Because when you choose yourself, the people who were only comfortable with your discomfort will say you acting different. oh, you acting funny. And you know what? You're probably right. You are acting different because when you know better, you do better. And so today I choose to honor my growth, to trust my timing, to protect my peace. And it's not always about cutting people off. Sometimes it's just about shifting how you show up, right? Learning to love people without losing yourself in the process. Recognizing that you can't pour from an empty cup. Because if you don't take care of yourself, who gonna do it? I've been thinking about that a lot lately. How self-care isn't just spa and bubble baths. And you know, I love me a spa and a good bubble bath. It's boundaries. It's discipline. It's knowing when to rest and when to move. It's understanding that healing isn't linear. That some days you'll feel unstoppable. Other days you may feel like you're right back where you started. But listen, don't let those moments trick you. You are not back at square one. You're just being reminded of what still needs your attention. And speaking of that, let's talk about accountability. Because when I tell you this one stung, you ever catch yourself blaming life for why something isn't happening? Like, oh, I just don't have the time. Oh, I'll start when I have more money. Oh, I'm just waiting for a sign. But then you sit with yourself and realize, I'm low-key, actually high-key, the only thing standing in my own way. That's a hard pill to swallow when you being honest with yourself. But you know what's beautiful about that? If you're the reason it hasn't happened yet, you already know where I'm going. That means you're also the reason that it can happen. So remember, I am capable. I am powerful beyond measure. I am no longer playing small. I am divinely guided. And then ask yourself, what's really stopping me? Is it actually the circumstances? Or is it the story you keep telling yourself about why you can't do it? Because let me tell you something I learned firsthand. There is nothing more dangerous than a limiting belief disguised as logic. Ooh. Let me say that again for the people in the back. Actually, let me say it again for myself. There is nothing more dangerous than a limiting belief disguised as logic. I got to put that on a t-shirt or something. Or at least on my Instagram story. Okay, stay focused. You ever convince yourself that something isn't possible before you even try? You ever tell yourself, oh, that won't work for me, before you even give it a chance? I had to check myself on that a couple times, even in the gym. Because the truth is, the mind will always find proof for what it believes. If you believe you're stuck, your mind will find proof that you're stuck. If you believe you're not capable, your mind will find proof to back that up too. But if you believe you can, that you're worthy, that you're already becoming, the proof starts to show up because your mind isn't searching for the limits anymore. It's searching for possibilities. I trust myself. I trust my journey. I'm exactly where I need to be. Everything is working in my favor. And that shift, that's what changes everything. So this is your reminder. Be mindful of the story you tell yourself because your words, your thoughts, they shape your reality more than you realize. And listen, all of what I'm sharing with you, I'm still learning. I'm still applying. I'm still making adjustments. I'm still shifting and I'm still pivoting. I hope that never changes. I'm also still catching myself in patterns I thought I had already broken. But the difference now, I see it. I recognize it. And instead of running from it, I sit with it. I ask myself, why do I still feel this way? What part of me still believes this? And what we gonna do about it? Because if you know me, there's a problem and then I'm immediately on to the solution. Are you like that? Because healing isn't just about letting go. And I think sometimes we get that so confused. Sometimes healing is about understanding why you were holding on to it in the first place. Why were you holding on to it? I'll let you sit with that. But if you're in a season of becoming right now, I need you to hear me. No, I really need you to hear me on this. You do not need more time. You never needed permission. And most importantly, you do not need to have it all figured out. Do you know how stressful it is to have it all figured out? Do you know how much weight comes with trying to have it all figured out, only to realize you still don't have it all figured out? Baby, I'm leaving the big things to big God, because He's the one with the big powers, with the big strength, with the big capacity. And I never want to be in comparison to Him. I only want to be a reflection. So if it's too big for me, I got somebody that can handle it. Big G. But in the midst of that, you do need to decide. Decide that you're worthy. Decide that you're ready. Decide that you are willing. And decide that the past version of you does not get to define the future version of you. If you don't tell him or her, baby, sit down. Sit down, because, listen, you're not running anything over here, okay? Write that down. I am whole. I am evolving. I am stepping fully into my purpose. I am already everything I've been waiting for. Because this time is different. And I could feel it. Can you feel it? Listen, I know we just went deep, real deep, probably even derailed a little bit, but this is my journal. And plus this moment, this is the work. This is what it looks like to sit with yourself, to reflect, to be honest, to hold yourself accountable. And that's why I do this, from my journal to you, because I know I'm not the only one navigating this. So before you go, I want you to do one thing. Sit with yourself, write down your thoughts, your fears, your dreams, the things you've been avoiding, and the things you know you need to face. Because self-reflection is the key to transformation. And remember this, you are not behind. You are not late. You are exactly where you need to be. Your journey is unfolding in divine timing, y'all. So what's next for you? What's the next decision you need to make? The next step you've been avoiding? Because it's time. It's your time. And when you make that choice, when you finally stop waiting for permission to be who you already are, the world gonna feel it. The world gonna see it. You gonna come through unstoppable. Chin up, chest out, okay? And I love that for you. So let's shift. Let's grow. Let's become. Let's do all the things that we told ourselves that we had to wait to do. Because time waits on nobody. What makes you think you're special? I mean, you are, but not special enough for God and the world not to allow you to be all of what you was created to be. Stop letting people play in your face. But first, you got to stop playing in your own face. Because that's really where it starts. We set the tone for how people treat us. And as we know better, we do better. And we should be doing better by ourselves. And until next time, keep watering that mustard seed, because don't nobody want no always green grass. Is it fake or what? And in the meantime, I hope that you are tuning in to Uncourt Conversations, where we are still having real, raw, transparent conversations over wine, because I wouldn't be on that couch if you wouldn't be on this other end. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I thank y'all. And I'm getting ready to close up my journal. Be good to you. I'll be good to me. And life is just going to be good to us. I'm out. Have a good time. Love you. Bye.